Welcome back to the third round back nine of the Disc Golf Pro Tour Preserve Championship here in Clearwater, Minnesota. This is presented to you by Prodigy Disc. I'm Paige Pierce.
And I'm Missy Gannon.
And this is the final edition of this tournament out here. We got 9 holes left to play. I'm sitting at 26 under par. Catrina is 15 under par. Missy Gannon right behind her at 14 under par. And Paige Shue 7 under par. We saw Hokum shooting hot from the second card, looking to challenge that 7 under from Paige Shue. Excited to see how this ends up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the FPO coverage brought to you guys by GK Pro.
And we're going to start off on hole 10, 269 feet, par 3. It's essentially an island. It's surrounded by water on the left side, and basically you just need to throw something right at the basket. It's slightly uphill, and you just want to get as close to the basket as possible. It's a super fast green. And if you were to go out of bounds, you have to go to a drop zone.
Catrina with a PA1. She's put this one very close the other 2 days. Releases it at the basket this time instead of to the right of it, so she's going to find herself on the left side. This is my Crystal Fierce. Little bit of a late release there. It's kind of drifting over to the right, kicking that tree and finding myself just outside the circle on the short side.
I'm going with my Undertaker a little bit faster, trying to hang it to the right side and get a nice gentle fade towards the basket. Unfortunately, I throw it way too high, and I will find myself just outside the circle on the left side of the basket.
Paige now with her Lucidex Maverick. Beautiful release here. Flat and right of the basket. Skids right up to about 15 feet.
Yeah, perfect shot for Paige.
CTP.
So again, I'm running everything. I feel pretty comfortable from this distance. I've been hitting the basket, and I hit it again.
Oh, it looked identical to one of the putts we saw on the front 9 coverage.
Yep, just got to get it up. I'm all over it. I take a little mental note. I'm like, okay, that's how you do it. You were, just a couple steps inside me, outside the circle. Great connection.
Catrina now. Oh, beautiful putt. She looked like a tiny bit on the right side, but that hyzer angle just kept her in there. She moves up to 16 under. And Paige with a good birdie as well, moves up to 8 under par.
And I will tap in the lone par. But moving on to hole 11, 667 foot par 4. I really love the look of this fairway. You just want to throw something super straight and get as far down the fairway as you can. Try not to turn it over or hyzer out too much. Set yourself up for this second shot, which is definitely a little bit more technical because of this tree right here on the right side. It kind of forces you to think of whether or not you're going to go on the inside, right side of that tree, or go outside. I don't know, I really like this hole.
Right, Catrina now with that X3. A little bit low, but it was a beautiful release. It's going to find the ground a little bit earlier than she intended. And she's on the right side, so she's going to have to work out either a sidearm or an anhyzer from there. And I'm in a pretty similar position, a little bit farther up than Catrina, but we're going to be working with the same type of angle into the green. Paige now with that Air Ballista Pro. Looks like it comes out of her hand a little bit late, and she's going to actually cuts through the trees and finds herself on the fairway.
I'm going with my straightest thrasher. I'm just trying to get a little bit of turn, throw it a little low, and just try to land right in the center of the fairway. Paige throwing that Anheuser line, really just trying to get a bunch of distance and hopefully, find herself near circle 2, but turns it over a little bit too much. She'll find herself in the woods just a little bit on the right side.
This thrasher shot, you're going up the right side gap.
Yeah.
I like the intention, just a little bit low, and it kind of cut rolls in the grass a little short of circle 2.
Yeah, a little bit higher, I think that would have been parked.
Kat was between a few discs. She had like 3 discs in her hand, ends up with the H3 V2, trying to get a late turn into the green, but hits that last tree that you were talking about and is going to be a little short on the left. I'm looking for a late turn in Sky Annie. Little sharp so I don't get as much distance and also hit that barrier tree. It's funny when there's one tree to miss and we all hit it.
Because you almost have to aim at that tree and then commit to one side or the other. It's so easy to do.
Wow, Paige with a spot I've never seen on the hole finds a beautiful gap and lands herself right under the basket. Ooh.
I knew I was all over the basket, and I know that I'm back 2 now from Kat, and I have to run everything, and I feel pretty good about that run. At least it was high this time instead of low.
Yeah, I definitely tried to run that one after seeing you almost hit yours. It looked fun. Catrina, on the other hand, just wants to put it underneath, stress-free.
Yep.
I leave myself with about a 25-foot tester. And
no doubt.
Happy to connect on that one. Paige, a little bit left. Sticks it, though.
Yeah,
that was a great up and down
she's
from
had
there.
a couple of left side putts, but again, these baskets are working pretty well. I connect on my par putt. Looks like we're just going to walk away with a bunch of pars. And we're moving on to hole 12, 296 feet, par 3. Love these little wooded holes in between some of these big bomber holes. This is just something that you need to throw super straight, almost hug the right side just a little bit, just to get that nice skip up to the basket. And then you have the Mississippi River right behind, which is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, a little bit late out of Catrina's hand. Hits those branches and kicks way left. She must have had some grip issues as she looks down at her hand.
Yeah, and this is definitely like a low ceiling, slightly downhill, so you're trying to just get that angle perfect. And it's hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, you want to hug that right tree line, but we're just cutting it a little too close, hitting some of those branches and stopping our momentum towards the basket.
Yeah.
Paige sees our mistakes and goes a little more left, but 2 left. She actually hits that tree and kicks into the woods.
I ended up with my Undertaker. I'm just looking to get there, I don't want to make the same mistakes, but I end up almost making the same mistake. I thought I cut through a lot more, but I'm just right by that big tree.
Timing of your release looked great. Just a tiny bit too much Anheuser on it. Looked like it was headed down the center of the gap.
Yeah. Paige with a great recovery shot with her fuse.
Also this hole's pretty difficult because it's the first time we're faced with a gap in 12 holes. So just the aiming part of it is a little bit daunting.
Yeah. I have this little gap to just throw a nice forehand chip shot.
It's a tiny bit low under the basket, skids to about 15 feet.
I'm at about 20, 22 feet. Not thinking much of it. Little right side. That was a bummer. I can't afford to make any bogeys right now. I need to capitalize on at least a par or birdies.
Yeah, and with this par, Catrina will grab another stroke and move up to 3 ahead of you, but there are still a few holes left. Catrina's playing pretty solid golf, though, so you're going to have to pick up the pace here. And
Yeah, at this point, I'm definitely thinking about all the birdies that are left and deciding what I need to do. And really, I have to run everything. So I need to tighten up, as my caddy would say, at this point and make something happen.
so we see Holly Finley from the second card, 3 under par. Quite a few ladies under par at this point.
And hole 13, another gap you got to hit. It's 360 feet, but I believe all of us can get within, the circle for a putt. But you just really have to commit to that Anheuser line, or if you have a forehand, I think that would be the play. First things first, get out of the gap. Don't hit any of those early trees, and have something turn a little bit later for an opportunity at a birdie.
Kat was deciding between her F7 and this H3 V2, goes with the H3 V2, and she was very disappointed after this shot. I think she was really looking forward to this hole and did not capitalize on it any of the 3 rounds. This is my Undertaker, looking for a severe hyzer flip and let it go a little bit early. Happened to find a sneaky gap and get up there pin high. Well outside the circle. Paige going with that Ballista Pro again.
She's been getting good turn on it, and she definitely executes the shot. She is a little short, maybe just inside circle 2, but that flight looked perfect.
This is your straight thrasher.
Yeah, I know I have to throw this pretty flat, and it'll get some turn naturally. I also take that sneaky gap, unintended.
You take it, huh?
But I am well short. I have to pitch up a shot to the basket and put myself close. Actually go a little bit long, but I'm not too worried about it.
Catrina now with a very beat-in PA1 straight flyer, right in the mulch.
Eric Oakley makes a little joke, says that she's short. They're good friends. And she was like, well, actually it went past the basket, so just a little fun on the course.
Paige with a similar approach. A little bit low there, but that was a bonus birdie if I would have hit that.
So I'm left with about 25 feet, and that felt good, especially after that missed putt on the last hole. Not that I was really thinking about it. I'm a confident putter. Just had to make that happen. So we're just gonna see a bunch of pars and move on to hole 14. One of my favorite holes on this course. It's just kind of unique. It's a 660-foot par 4. There is OB all along the left side, which is really easy to hyzer out into. We're slightly elevated on the tee pad. You really just want to throw something super reliable straight at that tree line on the right and have it hyzer back into the fairway. You can get hyper aggressive and just throw as far as you can. That will also work. But then we're left with a kind of a tricky green. That basket is right on a hillside. So you can see Kat going with that hyzer line straight at the straight at those trees, and lands nicely in the center of the fairway.
I haven't been throwing this hole very well, so I'm just trying to rip it as hard as I can and get up there for the shortest possible upshot.
Yeah.
Sneaks into the woods a little bit, but I think I'm on the edge.
Yeah, man, if you had gotten just a little bit of fade, you would have been way far up there.
Paige aiming right. No chance of out of bounds. Plays the right side of the fairway.
I'm just throwing my straightest thrasher. Just trying to put a rip out there. I love the height. I know it's going to have that stability late.
Beautifully thrown.
I'm happy about it.
Now this upshot's very tricky with the downhill drop off at the back and the bunker on the right. Paige throws her Lucid X Maverick.
Perfect.
Lands it short and gets that little skid up there. Kat was deciding between a few discs and goes with the PA1. I think hindsight, she would have grabbed something else. I think she had to throw that harder than she wanted to and kind of flipped it into the wood line on the right, the tree line on the right.
And I'm going with my Paige Pierce Buzz. Hang it a little wide. It does get that nice late fade, and I'll find myself down the hill, but inside the circle.
This is my flippy Buzz. Just trying to throw something with some glide and flip.
Yeah, that's a great recovery shot. No run up from a knee. Kat's just outside the circle. Definitely running this.
Leaves it short and gives you a chance to make up a stroke, but this is a very difficult putt. Look at the straddle stance, severely uphill.
Yeah, I knew I needed to get this nice and high.
Wow.
Trust my straddle putt practice.
Wow.
And capitalize.
Beautiful putt.
Thank you.
Clutch. Picking up one of those strokes. Paige with a great birdie there. And I was so excited to see how close my Buzz got. That was better than I anticipated. And Catrina with the only par on the hole.
All right, now hole 15, 703 feet, par 4. We're slightly lower than this hill on the tee, so you really just want to pump something straight out there, get over that hill, and land somewhere in the flat. Slight low ceiling as well with those trees right around that hill. And then a second big shot, just trying to navigate around that tree in the center of the fairway and give yourself a look at the birdie.
Yeah, I really like this tee shot. I think it's very challenging. It's easy, but it's deceiving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that uphill slope right by the tee and the low-hanging branches. It's a really good tee shot.
Yeah. Throwing sort of uphill can be tricky because you don't want to throw it nose up. You want it to cut through that air and get over that hill, just like you see Paige doing here, landing in the flat to give you some good footing for your second shot.
Yeah, this is probably one of the easier par 4s, but if you don't get over that hill, like you're saying, you have no chance. You don't have any sort of momentum on that run-up second shot.
Yeah, I cut it on the inside a little bit. helps me get over that hill quicker.
Yeah, I like that.
But it will make me have to throw a full power second shot because I'm a little bit shorter than I normally would like to be.
Catrina now with the D2. Similar line to you, actually. Gets that hyzer out, and y'all are going to be looking at a pretty similar approach.
Yeah, we were right next to each other pretty much. Paige having to go big here, finds herself outside circle 2, but, you know, nice uphill run. She'll probably give that a go. I'm going big. Like I said, I need to throw something pretty hard. I was aiming for that tree in the center and just turns over just a little bit too much. So I'm inside circle 2, but I'll have that tree right here to contend with on the putt.
Yeah, beautiful line. Just needed a little bit of a hyzer finish. Catrina now at the X3. Pretty opposite stability. She gets a lot of hyzer finish and doesn't quite get enough distance. She's going to be short outside the circle. This is my buzz.
Yeah, you're kind of in that little ravine, but it gives you the opportunity to be straight on with the basket, to be able to throw a buzz like that.
Paige just kind of places one up there.
Same with me. Again, I need to rerunning everything. I just couldn't quite run that one with the tree there.
The tree and the branches, kind of hard to run it. Catrina is going to run this, though.
Yeah.
And pretty decent bid, just a little bit low. And that was just a weird one from me. I wasn't quite sure whether to step it or jump it. And didn't fully commit to either.
Yeah, I was definitely expecting at least one birdie, probably 2, if not more, but we will all be walking away with a par.
Yeah, that second shot, a little daunting with the uphill green, and none of us quite got it close enough.
Yeah. Take a check at the leaderboard. Paige pulling away at this point, but there's still a tight battle for second and third. Also a tight battle for that 4th place spot. Sarah is making a run, currently tied with Paige Shue. And we're moving on to hole 16, 378 feet, par 3. This is definitely one of those holes that feels like it should be easy because it's kind of wide open, but that distance is just a little bit long and kind of at the edge of a lot of our distance for a full power shot. But, you know, you really just have to throw something that you trust that's going to get a lot of distance. For me, it's a full flex shot.
Yeah, today I'm going with a Zeus wide, but not wide enough. It's really stable and just loses speed on the short side of the basket. Paige going with that Ballista Pro here. I feel like she could just walk around with 2 discs.
I know.
3 discs, her putter. Not quite high enough, finds the ground short of the mound.
Yeah, I had actually birdied this round 1, and so I have the same game plan, same disc with my Thrasher, trying to get a full flex shot, put it on some Annie. I actually felt really good about this one. I don't know, it just held a little bit too long to the right, but I was pin high, so I know I can get there. I just need a little bit of fade at the end.
Catrina going with the D2 here. Looking for a wide hyzer, but comes over the top of it and comes out on an anhyzer release. And for a moment there, the wind was carrying it towards the water. We were all kind of holding our breath, wondering when it was going to get down. She does stay safe and has a long approach, but she makes easy work of it onto the mulch.
I'm running it. Story of my day.
Wow, it looked good,
Yeah.
honestly. That branch slowed it down, but
I know.
could have had a chance.
Yep.
And yeah, I can see you're definitely running it. You're running out of holes to catch her. I was running that as well, just kind of awkward lie for me, put it a little too nose up and sailed over the basket, almost outside the circle deep.
Yeah, that was a big putt. So we're all just going to tap out some pars. 2 holes left. Birdieable holes for sure, but for both me and Kat. So, you know, I just need to get my birdies, and I can't control what she does, and I just have to do everything I can to make it happen. So hole 17, 269 feet, par 3. Really cool little wooded tunnel shot. I absolutely love this hole. You just have to throw something nice and straight that's going to glide all the way to the basket and give yourself a birdie putt. We're probably going to see some putters and mid-ranges for sure.
My Crystal Fierce here. Haven't fully hit the gap yet, so really excited to try again, but hit the last tree on the right. And you're just joking away with me that I can't hit this gap.
Having fun.
Of course. Paige grabs her Lucid X Maverick again. Lets it go a little early, and the stable finish of the fairway driver does not correct her mistake. She will not make it out of the gap.
Yeah, I'm mostly joking because we both throw the same disc. It is your, player of the year, Crystal Fierce, that you just gave me, so I think that's why it's a little funnier to me. But yeah, I find myself hitting the line right. I'm just inside circle 1.
Still a tester of a putt, though, for sure, especially when you know you need to hit it to hopefully get a stroke.
Yeah.
And Catrina doesn't make the gap either, so you are in a good position to pick up a stroke, but like I said, it's a hard putt still ahead.
Yep.
So myself, Paige, and Catrina are all far enough away where we don't really have an option to run it. We kind of just place our approaches under the basket.
Yep.
And we'll be watching the Missy show to see if she can make the solo birdie on this hole 17.
Yeah, this is about 28 feet, just a step inside circle 1.
Beautiful putt and so clutch. You just condense the gap to one shot with one hole to play, and all smiles from you as you approach 18's tee.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about all of these kind of opportunities in the future. Those could be putts for first place, and I can only learn from those kind of situations and hopefully take it along with me.
Absolutely. To be confident on the putting green is something that will definitely set you apart in your career moving forward.
So final hole, hole 18, 930-foot par 5. I think this is a great par 5 for the FPO division. You might have some eagle looks, but it has so many features. The first water carry off the tee, then just sort of navigating where to land on your second shot. All of these bunkers and greens, and it just has so many interesting features, and I think it's a great finishing hole.
Yeah, we saw some excitement for sure on the MPO side. And now on the FPO side, we have a absolute battle.
Yep, I'm just trying to pump one out there. There was like this tail sort of left to right wind. Drops my disc a little bit too much, but I'll find myself at least on the flat side, just barely.
Not too much wind here, so I'm going with my Surge SS, trying to get as much distance as possible. I've had a look at Eagle the past 2 days, and I really want to make it happen. But I find myself a little bit on an upslope in the tall grass. Not sure what that'll look like yet. Paige with the Ballista Pro.
And this is sort of that tail crosswind working. I was definitely nervous to get any of the underside of my disc exposed, and you can see, it did definitely affect Paige's shot right there.
Yeah, just dropped it severely. Catrina now going with this X1, really, really stable driver. She obviously is thinking put it in bounds, not thinking at all about distance. Just knowing that if she pars it, she's going to force you to have to birdie it.
Right.
Paige, luckily with that skip off the water, stays safe and just kind of puts one up onto the fairway. And Kat again with the X1.
Yep, just trying to land up there on that old ball golf green. She got some skips at the end, ends up in the bunker.
And again finds herself in that bunker.
Yeah.
She was there for the first 2 rounds, all 3 rounds now.
And I'm definitely just trying to avoid that bunker, although I was trying to tell myself, don't be afraid of it because there's still opportunities from there, and I just end up throwing it way too low. But I'll still be able to try and make it across.
I was definitely out of position, so I laid my fierce up onto the ball golf green, and I will see what is left from there.
Paige is trying to get herself in a good spot to be able to have a nice line to the basket over that last pond.
All right, and she puts the shades on at about 7:45 p.m.
Yeah.
Missy with a full commitment here on that Thrasher. Nice Annie release and gets the full flight. Just a tiny bit low,
Yeah.
but still just a little bit outside circle 2.
Yeah.
Kat now definitely has some pressure. She needs to get this one inbounds.
Yeah, basically she just needs to get it inbounds at this point. She's on the green, inside circle 2. I have to birdie this in order to catch her. So I'm going to need to try and throw something in.
Looking about 320-foot shot from here. Go with my Tour Series Buzz.
Perfect.
And yeah, you could tell Catrina, all she was trying to do was just get it safe. She put so much anhyzer on it. There's so much land over to the right.
Yep.
And a great correction from yesterday. She was in that bunker and threw it into the water. So learning from her mistake from yesterday.
And I was trying to play catch with the basket. Obviously, I had to make that. So I was running it and putting a lot of heat on it. At this point, there was no sense in me trying to lay that up. I needed to try to throw it in.
Yeah, I love the commitment. Definitely didn't leave it short. Paige almost sinks that one. Good height, just a little bit right of the basket. And now this putt doesn't really mean too much. You kind of already know, but this is just
formality at this point.
Yep.
I almost make it too, and it's okay. Yeah, I had some room behind me as far as strokes go, so it really was all about that second place.
But you're going to be walking away with your second podium in 2 weeks. Great showing here again at this 4th Pro Tour of the year. And like we talked about, this is not only for the title this week and the placing, but this is for points, the cumulative points that determine our end of the year champion. So
Preserve Championship.
Look at that big old trophy right there.
I'm kind of confused in this moment. Like, what do I do with this trophy? That is not going to fit in my Ford Transit.
But awesome showing by you, Paige. 29 down. You just absolutely capitalized on this course and made those birdies happen. Catrina in second place with 16 down. Myself in third place with 14 down. Paige not quite having the best round. She will actually get jumped by Sarah Hokum for that 4th place finish. But love this course, New course to the Pro Tour. I have a feeling we're going to see it again. It just kind of is the total package.
Yeah,
Maybe you'll see a
absolutely.
couple of changes, but yeah, it was a really, really good week.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys subscribe to GK Pro. They're doing FPO coverage all year long.